other side on Good Morning Anambra this morning. I'm Ajuluchuku Okawe, and today we shall be discussing menstrual hygiene among young women and girls commemorating 2023 Menstrual Hygiene Day. And in the studio I still have my great anchor with me, co-anchor Chidinma Ramwa. And we have some guests that will definitely be delving into this thing. I hope you're not surprised that a man is getting to talk about menstrual hygiene. But that doesn't surprise you. It shouldn't surprise you. It should be a great concern to men like us because we like hygiene too.
Of course, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that you're the one championing the course of, maintaining this menstrual hygiene among girls and women in our society. Of course, it's a day we are, it's because we are commemorating the 2023 Menstrual Hygiene Day, and it has grown tremendously. I mean, the celebration of this day has grown tremendously since we started celebrating in the year 2014, and it's a day set aside to, actually some media organizations, some other organizations, NGOs, and all that. They use it as a day to promote good menstrual hygiene among girls and children. Of course, we are doing our own part right here in the studio this morning.
People and the need for the hygiene on that. And in the studio we have this morning with us Engineer Maureen Chizoba Ukoniuku, who is a creative ladies global resource person. Good morning, Engineer.
Good morning, dear.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I was here last year, exactly the same time. So I'm here again, and she also was here.
Okay, that's good. That means we have the right people here with us in the studio. And then next we have Edith Onwuka, Chairperson, National Association of Nurses and Midwives, Anambra State Chapter. Good morning.
Thank you for having me in the studio.
You're welcome. So, can you let's cut to the chase. What is menstrual cycle? Before we begin to talk about the hygiene that goes with it.
Okay, thank you very much. Menstrual cycle is the cycle that occurs in an adolescent, starting from let me start from the side of menstruating and then go back. That's the period by which a lady experiences flow of blood from the vagina, which means that the eggs that was released did not fertilize. It stays there, and then the only thing that he has to do is to break down and then move out in form of blood and debris. Then after that, the cycle, that is a sort of continuous event that happens starting from the menstruation back again to the next menstruation, and each of the phases represents important, represents important issues in the life of an adolescent. For example, after menses, she enters what we call dry periods. From there, she enters ovulation. From there, it goes back again. So it's a cycle that keeps on coming. Then for menstrual hygiene, we refer to hygiene or an adolescent being able to maintain utmost personal hygiene during menstruation, because once an adolescent starts menstruating, is now vulnerable. Is now vulnerable to infection, is now vulnerable to other like unintended pregnancy. So personal hygiene is very, very important, especially in our society where some people still have that stigmatization, or when they see a lady that is menstruating and somehow the cloth is stained, they make caricature of the person. So today, being the World Menstrual Day, is set aside to raise awareness, to remove this stigma and encourage girl child that is menstruating on how to take care of herself, to avoid infecting herself and also infecting the general public, because when the product of menstruation like pads are not properly disposed, it constitutes danger to the community, it constitutes danger also to the girl child. So today the global community is marking the World Menstrual Day, and we are using this opportunity to encourage both the school proprietors, especially in the dormitory, to pay more attention, give more education to a girl child on how to maintain utmost hygiene during menstruation.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let's come to you, Engineer Maureen. Talking now, she made mention of the reason why we should encourage this hygiene, menstrual hygiene, because we wouldn't want our girls to be infected and all that. But then again, we need to actually state what it means to be clean during menstrual flow. For a young girl that probably is starting, maybe the first time she's seen her menstrual period, because some people will tell you that they don't really know about it. Some parents don't even teach their child about it, and all of a sudden a girl will just notice that blood is coming out from her private part, and she gets scared and all that, and she doesn't know how to manage the situation. So how should a young girl, at the person that is just experiencing it for the first time, manage the situation and also be clean and free from infection?
Okay, let me start with telling us that menstruation is a natural phenomenon. It's not a taboo. It's not a crime. What I'm doing is, my NGO is, actually we have an organization, Creative Ladies. It's a community-based organization. Young girls with like minds, we come together, we teach these young girls the importance of menstrual hygiene. That's basically what we are doing. Though we are giving out free sanitary pad too. But the most important thing we are doing is teaching these girls how to restore their own self-confidence. It is not a crime. It's a natural phenomenon. What do you have to do? If you cannot afford a sanitary pad, create for your own self a hygienic homemade pad. During those days of our mothers, they are using a piece of cloth. Now what we are teaching them is you can actually have your own menstrual kit. Get a bucket. You can be a custard bucket. Make sure it has a cover. Get a towel. It could be an OK. Wash it properly with disinfectant. You can iron it. Make sure, when you keep it out of exposure of air, it won't contaminate any disease. After using it, wash it again with disinfectant. Then iron it and keep it back there. You can actually use it more often because sanitary pad is very expensive, disposable one. Then make sure you are changing your pad at least every 4 hours. For the young girls we are teaching, most of them doesn't know what is heavy flow, except if you have an infection. Heavy flow normally occurs at adulthood. So then as a student, take your bath, morning, afternoon, if possible. If not, okay, it doesn't come with odor, except if you have a body odor. Then at night, make sure you bath, change your panties. Then when you start taking care of yourself and being conscious, you won't have a stain. It's when you're careless about it. That's when you have a stain. So what we're teaching these girls basically is this. Once you have started menstruating, mind how you use public toilets, public utilities. Don't discard the pad anyhow to avoid infecting other people. Then wash your clothes. You are an adult now. Wash your clothes. Wash your undies. Don't repeat undies. Then take care of your environment. If you see it, remove it. We are ambassadors. We do this at schools. I have menstrual hygiene ambassadors in schools. I have girls that I have coached, I have tutored, I have mentored. So they are doing what we are doing, and we are teaching it in schools. And actually, today is not World Menstrual Hygiene Day. It's 28.
28, yes.
So, but we are doing the program today.
Is Sunday.
Yes.
So
a lot of people are marking their own
today. So we are marking our own today.
So let me just.
But then again, you made mention of you telling them if you see where a used pad is dropped, that you should pick it. Do you also teach them how to dispose it properly? And now, wait. And now we are in the era where some bad people used to go to all these dumps to pick used pads. I don't know what they are using it for. Do you also teach them how to dispose of this properly?
Yes. Most of the schools, they don't have where they burn sanitary pad. But you can actually tie it in a black nylon and then dispose it in a dustbin. As long as it is not opened, it cannot be, it cannot be contaminated. But once you tie it in a nylon and throw it in the dustbin. It is safe there. Whoever that goes there to pick it has picked the trash. I don't know about what they're using it for, whatever. I don't know about that one. What I know is that you can actually dispose it properly by tying it in a nylon and putting it inside the dustbin that has cover. That's what we are preaching in schools and at home.
Let me go to the next. At what age should a child be expecting a menses after maybe sensitization by the elder sisters, or as the case may be, maybe the mothers?
Yes, it depends on the individual. But the normal age is the adolescent age, which starts from 12 to 19 or 18, depending on the recent research now. But that is the period that menses is likely to resume. But in some kids, due to rapid growth.
Because I wanted to ask you, funnily enough, you see some kids at the age of 9, 10, they're already
due to rapid.
So some people say it's the kind of food that they eat now. I don't know.
I think it's hormone.
It's hormone due to rapid growth and hormonal issues. Some people tend to start early, whereas some people start late. For example, I started at the age of 14, but I didn't know. Even my mother was worried. What is happening? Have you not started seeing your menses? I said, what is menses? That was when she now, sat me down and explained everything to me in readiness for the resumption of the menstruation. So what we are saying today is that some mothers don't prepare their children, their girl child, for this menses. They learn it from outside, like she said. Some schools, they are doing very, very well in terms of, teaching these young girls menstrual hygiene. But not in all school. I visited one school, behold, what I saw was an eyesore. You see pads, tissues here and there, and also I don't know whether you teach them. It is very, very dangerous to use tissue in place of pads and improvise during menstruation, because tissue actually is not sterile, and it traps particles which the young child or young girl can contact infection from it. Rather, in those days when we were in the school, we used napkins, just like she said. After your menses, you wash it, you dip it in jik, wash it, spread it for it to dry, and then iron it and keep it back. So with that, at least, because we are in the hospital, and most girls that comes down with UTI, urinary tract infection, other sexually transmitted, other diseases of the genital tract, if you trace it, it's from poor management of menstruation. So it is very, very necessary that once a girl child approaches that adolescent age, the mother or the teacher in the school should prepare the girl for the...
I like your point there. The truth is that I don't even think that any girl child or any woman will want to use tissue, but it's because they don't have the money, the resources to get a pad. But then again, we are in a society where we are celebrating World AIDS Day. We'll distribute condoms free of charge to people, because we know that they might engage in sex and all that. Yes, on safe sex. But then again, why can't we keep on distributing pads? Because it's essential. These children need it. The young adults that cannot afford it, even while they are in school. Some people in the hostels, they can't even afford it because probably their parents are managing their resources and all that. So in what way can we make it easier for younger girls to maintain a level of a safe menstrual period, so that they don't get themselves contaminated with one infection or the other, as they are trying to see how they can take care of themselves.
Okay. Let me say something here. Actually, my NGO, what we are doing is teaching these young girls the importance of menstrual hygiene, how to make your own reuse or rewashable sanitary pad, and also how to manage your environment. I learned that in the Western world, I've not been there. What they do, the government donates this pad to the students. Here, something of sort is not happening. And believe me, there are some families that their source of income on daily basis is not up to 500 naira. But if you see any sanitary pad that is below 500 naira, my brother is no, that one no good. Not a good one. So for a very good sanitary, and nobody uses one pack in a month, at least 2 or 1.5 for these young girls. So if you can budget 1,000 naira for pad, and you have like 4 or 5 daughters, like the one I gave a whole pack to one man that has 5 girls, and he's doing a driving work. So I asked him, how do you manage to buy pads? He started telling me this kind of stories. They're using tissue, they're doing. I said, no, it's not good. Instead, bring them. Let me teach them how to make their own rewashable pad that is safe and hygienic. Tissue is not. Our campaign is that the government should look into this. They say they have, they say that they subsidize pad. I don't know how they subsidize pad, and pad is 750, 650. Some people can still not provide it. So my NGO will give free sanitary pads, but it's still not enough. It is not enough. Today, our program today at Kana House, an organization donated 400 packs of pad for me with disinfectant and the soap. Another set of organization they donated 200, and they bring a shaving stick and all that. And that was my request, because this is what these young girls actually need. So we need government to look into this. If they look into this, it's not just me, it is us. When you build women, you have built a safe nation. That's just what I would say for now.
Okay, you want to add something?
Okay, thank you, Engineer. Let me suggest going forward.
Okay.
Let's ABS. We have adolescents focal person in the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
Yes, and I don't know whether you involve her in your program. Actually, I wanted to say that the effort of the NGO is not enough if we want to attain, or if you want to maintain that good personal hygiene among our girls. But the issue is that in our country, and coming down to Anambra, most of the activities, they are donor driven. Just little aspect of it that the government takes care of. But this one, I'm sure, I work in the ministry. There is somebody designated for that, which adolescent health, this menstrual issue is among the adolescent reproductive issue. So what I'm suggesting is that you pay advocacy visits to Ministry of Health and see how you people can work together, honestly. Because one, if you people work together, they have their budget line, but what they need is just to write a concept note and then write the importance. Government is not so that poor that they cannot provide menstrual pad. But all we are saying is that maybe it has not been channeled, or nobody has brought it to their notice. I'm not defending government, but I'm saying this present governor and his wife, anything pertaining girl child, they are interested on it. So if you will liaise with Ministry of Health, I'm sure by next year they will even donate more than that number that
Commissioner for Health, luckily, is the chairman of this occasion. Okay. Commissioner for Health is the chairman of today's program. So let's see what will come out of it.
You will see what will happen.
Okay.
Engineer, you said something about a healthy girl child is a healthy nation. I think I'll take a cue from there. Now, what are the side effects of not adhering to the hygiene of menstrual cycle? Can it hamper a child or a lady to say from having child? Can it lead to infection of the womb and stuff like that? Something that might hamper a lady from having a delivery or stuff like that.
Okay, let me say a little, and the nurse will continue from where I stopped. Yes, poor menstrual hygiene can actually cause an infection. It can even cause a blockage of uterus. It does a lot. It can give you candidiasis. And when infection stays longer in your body, it can actually start damaging hormones, things like, because it has to do with reproduction. So it's very bad. You can actually transfer the disease to other people, because most of these girls living in dormitory, they use the same toilet, they use the same bathroom. So when you are infected by poor menstrual hygiene, you can actually transfer it to other people. So it is very bad. But I think I want to learn more from our chief here. So she said a lot last year, so say more today.
You mean when it comes to the infections?
Exactly, exactly.
Actually,
I was with her last year here.
Just like she has stated, poor menstrual hygiene can land a girl child in future infertility.
Yeah.
Because when that personal hygiene is not maintained, it may lead to infection we call pelvic inflammatory disease, because these organs, they are all housed in the pelvis bone, both the bladder, the uterus, and then what else again? I think rectum or something of that nature. So when there is infection, I remember it's just one-way traffic. So once there is infection and it moves, it will affect the bladder, leading to urinary tract infection. The girl child may complain, if I want to urinate, I'm feeling in pains and hot sensation. That's how it starts. From there, you see discharge, that's candidiasis, as she has said. If it is not properly treated, it can go on to form what we call chronic pelvic inflammatory disease, which may hinder the person from getting pregnant when the time reach. So that's why we pay particular attention to this hygiene and making sure that once we encourage them, once you have any signs of candidiasis, please treat.
Exactly.
In short, I was in a school where my daughter graduated from. Every day I talk with the principal, please, once they complain this candidiasis, please either you send them home or you treat them, because if you don't treat it, it's endangering other students, because candidiasis is a fungal infection which the person may scratch and then pour water on the ground, another person will come and pick it, and it will continue that way.
To spread.
To spread, yes. So please, to prevent this infertility, because in infertility clinic, if you trace the cause, some of them will be linked to either poor personal menstrual hygiene or infection they contracted when they were in a closed circle like dormitory. So it is very, very important that government and NGO pay attention. Okay. But I would like to see Anambra State get involved in this, because
still on the infection part and all that. I want to ask if there are ways you know after menstruating. We know some people it lasts for 4 days or 5 days, as the case may be. Now after menstruating, are there things that you need to do as a woman to clean up yourself? Because these days we see on the internet, they will tell you that after menstruating you need to sit on some kind of water, or you douche, or you use something to make your system clean, and also make it rejig it again and all that. So I just want to ask you, as a medical practitioner, these practices, are they safe?
It's not safe, rather it is harmful. Because vagina, we are not supposed to wash it with soap or anything. I do tell them that if you want to take your bath, before you contaminate the water, because once you start pouring water and soap and everything, you have contaminated the water. The first place to wash is your private part. Don't use soap. Because when you use soap, the vagina wall contains what we call, is acidic in nature. And once you use soap, it reduces the acidity. And once the acidity is reduced, it has made it prone to infection. So douching of any kind, even in family planning clinic, there was one method we call douching, but it has been phased out because it was noticed that it's harmful. So they phased it out and resorted to other methods. So douching of any type, once you have finished your menses, you are finished. You don't need any other thing to make you sterile. Once it has ended, you prepare yourself for other stages of the cycle. You understand? Because when it stops, you enter into dry period when what you'll be noticing from your system is just ordinary water. As it goes on, it continues changing. And each stage represents a reproductive issue. From that dry period, you move to what we call ovulation, early signs of ovulation. That's when the egg will come out again, and if everything at the end of the day, nothing happens, it will break and shed away.
Okay. About that, you interact with these girls the more because you have an NGO. Now, do you also let them know the number of days they are going to wait before their next menstrual cycle? Because some of these girls, they don't know, and we have noticed that some of them have irregular menstrual cycle. Some, because you just see someone walking on, I've seen more than twice, you tell the person, please, you're stained. Hey, I didn't know it was going to come out today. So even adults, I'm not even talking about just this, even adults, most of them, they don't even calculate. They don't even know the time is coming. And some, because they have issues, and I want to also know where these issues of irregular menstrual cycle comes up from. But I want you to answer first. After then, you just educate us more on that.
Okay, young girls, we are teaching them. Once you start counting, because you just have to pay attention to your body system. Some 28 days, 27 days, 26 days is when you pay attention, you will get to know. And also, if your period wants to come out, it will give you sign. Every woman has a sign. So, but some people are careless. No, you won't know it. The sign is in the body.
No. I think there is a sign. When it wants to come, you will feel heaviness, and then prickling sensation on your breast, and then heavy waist.
I'm not saying
you will feel as if to say, for example, I'm not saying once I feel that heaviness of my breast, I will know that menses is
that's for you. It might be different from.
But it's this sign actually.
Yeah, because for you to know.
For that unfertilized egg to break down, it gives sign. It will give you cramp.
Yes.
It will give you pelvic cramp.
Tiny.
Then sharp cramp. And then some experience either light headache or heaviness of the breast, as the case may be. Their mood may change, and some may even brighten up somehow.
I've seen swollen lips.
Lips?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has swollen underlips. Lower lips.
Some used to have pimples too.
Yes. So you just need to watch yourself and know the signs that comes with it.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's talk about the irregular menstrual cycle.
Irregular menses may be as a result of hormonal problem.
Okay.
When that's hormone, because at every stage of our development, we have an active hormone that controls the system. At that stage of their development, there is supposed to be enough estrogen and progesterone in their system to regulate this flow. At times you see them having scanty or heavy. So in that case, what we normally do is to correct it. You use the family planning pills, microgenome, to correct it, because what it means is that they don't have enough hormone at that particular period to be maintaining the menstrual cycle. Once you place that person on that contraceptive, it will correct the system. It's not only for family planning. Heavy irregular menstrual flow that is as a result of hormonal problem are being controlled within that, using that microgenome, that family planning pills. But there are other irregular menses or heavy flow that is as a result of infection. In that case, a investigation is supposed to be carried out to know the particular bacteria or the virus, and then treat accordingly. So once you treat, it will stop. So basically, two things can cause irregular menses, either as a result of infection or as a result of hormonal imbalance, and they are all treatable.
Okay. This is out of in the line of sports. Out of curiosity, sometimes you see athletes, female athletes, then being given drugs to prolong their menses, as in postpone it, so that they can participate in sporting activities. Is that a wise decision to do?
It's not.
But you are aware that.
Yes, I've heard that, but it has an implication.
Okay.
Implication is that if you keep on postponing, remember that once that egg is ripe and nothing happened, it needs to be, broken and then flushed out, and you postpone it. What it means is that it may constitute a problem to that person.
But you can't bring you can't bring it
and
forward.
from every book I've been reading, it is not possible like that to stop a natural phenomenon that want to start. But people out of ignorance may say we want, but the issue is that most girls doesn't know, like she said, their duration or their cycle. Some will come and explain to you that they are menstruating 2 times in a month. It is not true. Some have short cycle. For example, if I'm menstruating now and they started on 1st, it's likely the next one will be on 25th or 26th.
Yeah.
And they will now count it that they have seen 2 menstruation in a month, whereas it's not. And it will keep on shifting. In that 26th, if it occurs, then the another one may be in 1st or 31st.
Yeah.
Then before that new month ends, she will see it again.
3 days backward or 3 days forward.
So it is not twice in a month.
Yes.
Some have absolutely short cycle. Some have cycle up to 30 days. That is, they saw it in 1st and probably they are going to see it again either on 31st or on the same 1st.
So you're saying that it's not advisable to either.
It is not advisable to stop a natural phenomenon that wants to occur. Because I've worked in a family clinic. There's one family planning that we put in plan on. So the lady was a Sabbatarian. So they wanted to go for their Passover. I don't know what they call it. She now came to me and said, can you give me any drug that at times the side effects she used to experience bleeding in between, which is the side effect of implanon, quite alright, that she don't want to see any blood, that I should give her drug to push any form of bleeding or whatever forward until she finishes her religious assignment. I said, no, I have no experience on what we push blood forward and then wait for you. When you finish what you are doing, it will come back. So I don't have, you can go to the hospital so that if doctors knows, they can give you, but at my level, I don't know. So in that case, it is not advisable at all.
Okay.
It is not, let's say for example, this lady that cooked 100 hours was menstruating while cooking. Yes, I read it. It was Hilda Bassi. She was on menses and stood for 100 hours cooking non-stop and was still, maintaining herself.
Okay. All right, we'll still get back to maybe what we do, because we know that it's blood that we are losing whenever this happens. So are there things that we need to eat, or are there things that we need to do at the end of the day before the next cycle? But we get back to that. Now we want to go on a short break. We want to get people's opinion concerning what we are discussing today. So let's hear what they have to say.
Young girls of these days, they are opportune, they are exposed to so many things like bad, different kinds of it, beautiful ones all together. So during our time, we were taught in school, mine started as early as when I was 11. Yeah. So then, you hardly know your left from your right. But thank God for our parents. My mother, I am the only girl, so my mother was able to take good care of me. She's not enlightened anyway. So she went and bought tissue for me. Yeah, first. So one lady now met her. Oh no, this is not right. You buy pad. Now she now took me to a shop and get me a pad, and the lady now taught me how to use it. Children, young girls of these days, they're opportunity. You'll be told in school, your peer groups, and all these organization functions, gatherings, they teach them. But then nobody, is not popular like now. So then my own used to be very painful. I was like, when the thing will be like a day or two, I will begin to feel the pain. So I will go to hospital. The nurse will tell me, give me some drugs, and I'll just take to ease the pain, So, but when I grew up to a lady, I now met a doctor, and I said, will I continue with this pain? So the doctor now said, no, that it will go when I have my first issue. Yes, and till I had my first issue. After my first issue, I didn't notice it again. So it is just, even when it starts, I will not even know. Yeah. So, you know, that then in school, we're taught to keep yourself clean, bathe regularly, especially when your menstrual cycle. You take good care of yourself, eat very well, have your rest, so that your strength will not be sapped.
Don't have much problem with it. Only that, you know, hip pains, you know, stomach pains, something like that. I use a pad. You make sure that you keep yourself clean. Make sure as soon as you have the sign of the menstruation coming up, you take a little bit rest, you know, wash those things, your undies there. Make sure that your environment is clean, and the toiletry is very important. The toilets where you are urinating and the breathing, make sure that it's clean.
Santipa is very expensive, honestly. Most of the girls in the society, some of them, their parents are not affluent. So I think for them to be able to purchase it, it's very hard for them, because some of them they are hawkers, you understand. But like we working class, we can be able to buy, you understand. But in normal, that is normally or in common, sanitary pad is very, very expensive. Some of them are making use of rags, tissue, which is not hygienic. Okay, like in schools, we are taught that it's not good for us to use all those things. But if you tell them such, while the sanitary pad is expensive, can't you see it's contrary?
The experience on very painful. Yeah, on in fact, on disorganized. Man, but along the line, you do it now because now we go part of us. So the cleanliness is he had very clean. People here we can make the money on needs. You will keep yourself clean. Oboro de bezi aru na inonia. You na waru frequently. Na change your pad. Yotago. They will ofuma. Ima ogo yawo ina anwe for the pains to relieve.
Depend on man and depend on family. If a man or a husband knows that the wife is undergoing a menstrual period, that's when she needs to be encouraged. So sometimes it becomes painful, becomes so upsetting. You will become uncomfortable when under that period. Anger, they're always angry, they're always, stressed up and stuff like that. We should need to help them. In the past, my father told me that whenever a woman is under menstrual, she's suspended from doing any active work. They don't go to kitchen, there's some food they don't cook, there's some men they don't serve. But today, because of social development, they don't even know. They don't mind. They cook all kind of food, do all kind of things with their husband and stuff like that. So we will realize that what you do is to encourage them. Give that day you should be within that 3 or how many days. Stay close. Talk to the woman. Be with her to make her be very hygiene. Suspend her from doing active job. Pamper her.
All right, glad to have you back on the show. We've heard to what people that we interview, what they have to say about the management of menstrual hygiene and all that. I mean, it's like they were echoing what we have been saying here. And some persons still mentioned about how expensive pad is. And off the camera, we have been talking about the alternative that you already mentioned and all that. But then again, I said something that some people actually react to some sanitary pads. I mean, some people, they will tell you that after using a particular sanitary pad, they started having rashes and all that. So does it mean that it's not sterile enough, or it's their body system? What could be the reason for that? Nurse Edith?
It's their body system because, like, as we are seated here, it's not drug I take without reaction that you can take and still experience the same. Some people react to active ingredients in this part. So the thing there is that if you react to these products, don't use it again, go for another one. I know that there is what we call toxic TSS, toxic shock syndrome, which at times some of these parts, if you are reacting to some of the ingredients and you keep on using it, can lead to shock.
Okay.
So then also there's something you mentioned before we went for break on the management post menstruation. How do we manage these kids? Like I told her that my friend called me that her daughter collapsed in the school, and they were attributing it to many things, witches and that. So I asked her, did you ask her about the nature of her menstrual flow? So when she called, she said, mommy, I had extremely heavy flow, and that heavy flow resulted to shock, what we call hypovolemic shock, because the blood have reduced. So in that case, we encourage balanced diets, especially after menses, for the girl child to rebuild the blood lost, no matter the amount. So they need to be, placed on diets. But we know in the dormitory, it may be very, very difficult. But we do encourage them, at least, try and alternate their foods. It's general food that they are eating. But single out those, children having that particular issue and manage them in a special way. Actually, if they lose a lot of blood, it can lead to shock.
Okay. Yeah. What also, how safe is the use of tampons and menstrual cup?
Tampon is very, very safe.
Have you seen the menstrual cup?
I've not seen the menstrual cup quite alright. It's in the Western world.
But we use it here in Nigeria because I've seen
tampon. I've used tampon once. It's very, very sterile. In short, if not that it is costly, it is recommended for everybody. But not everybody can afford to buy that tampon. I've not seen menstrual cup, but for tampon, I've used it once.
Okay.
What about people that have painful menstrual cycle?
Yes, that painful menstruation, this is a natural thing that is occurring. For that egg to break, when the uterus must contract to expel those blood. And without uterus contracting, that blood cannot go away. That is why they are having cramps. Even after delivery, if you don't have what we call evolution or after pain, the remaining blood cannot go out. It may lead to another thing. So that cramp is natural with people menstruating. But in case if it is too much, we don't use paracetamol to manage abdominal cramps or pelvic cramps as a result of heavy flow. We use painkiller like ibuprofen and so on and so forth. And in the early days they use Hygiene, but it's no more. It is outdated. NAFDAC did not, approve it again. But you can use ibuprofen, you can use diclofenac and so on and so forth to manage pains. But paracetamol cannot stop because it's a severe pelvic pain. And remember, when uterus is contracting, it's contracting vigorously to push those bloods away. So it's only a strong painkiller that can be able to calm the pain.
As a midwife, a nurse and a midwife, the absence of menstrual cycle, can it lead to a woman not having child at all?
Yeah, absence of menstrual cycle, we call it amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is an issue which may be as a result of hormonal imbalance, which may be as a result of infection also. So in that case, for somebody that is not menstruating, somehow it's difficult to be pregnant, and that's why she needs to see a consultant, a gynecologist, to assess and know the reason for the amenorrhea. Amenorrhea means it's not menstruating, the egg is not released, nothing. So that's
just a man.
No, not a man, but I've told you the issues that can cause amenorrhea.
All right. Okay. I want to come back to you, Engineer Maureen. Now, we talked about some people that have pains, like cramps. There are people, their own are very serious. Like you see them, they'll be like sick, very sick for the whole 4 or 5 days. Now, how can the people around them, family members, brothers around them, help them, when they are going through this phase?
Okay, we are actually talking to communities, church, families. When someone is going through this thing, give the person space. Reduce house chores for the person, and then let the person take stuff. If it's not things that last, it's 2-3 days, she will be over it. So, but sometimes, because of the pains, you see, it will stop some of them from going to school. That's when you start taking these painkillers. Then, allow her, if she wants to stay on her own, allow her, give her some space. That's why menstrual hygiene practices is not being taught to girls alone. It should be taught among everybody. So that if you have a sister, you can as well know what she's passing through. And then give her some space. That's what generally what we are preaching. Yes.
Okay.
Because that young lady will definitely grow up someday
and be a mother. Yes.
And then the man that is there will probably get married and
to be a father. Exactly.
Okay. That said, let's just quickly round up because of want of time. So, what's your advice to mothers, especially the young mothers that have these girls at home, the teachers at school, in fact, everyone when it comes to this menstrual hygiene?
Okay. Our message to them has to start from the family. The parents have to do their own by making sure they prepare this girl child mentally, physically, mentally by trying to, give her orientation of what may happen when the menses resumed. Then physically ensure that the girl child is eating a balanced diet to enable her, face with the challenges. So, and also to government, thank God you say commissioner is coming. Please tell him to involve the adolescent reproductive health officer in this program. That is very, very important, so that the state government can have their own quota to contribute to this menstrual hygiene. That's my message this morning.
All right, thank you so much. And Engineer Maureen, of course, you are one of the owners of the NGOs that are so passionate.
The only NGO working on menstrual hygiene. We need to commend her.
We commend you for what you are doing. And
we are looking for other NGOs to support.
The program that you are having today, then what's your message to other NGOs and well-meaning Nigerians?
Honestly, anytime I hear that someone is about to share a pad, I'm happy. You know why? The sky is too big. Every girl child needs a pad, not for 1 month, but for the rest of her lives until she enters menopause. So I am asking the government to please join us in what they should key into our project. Not just free education, they should also give free sanitary pad. It is not much to ask. Other NGOs, other donor agencies can as well. The one I'm giving, I'm not the one providing it. People donate because they believe in me. So once it's a government thing, people will also donate. All we need is for them to know the importance and what this thing is all about.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Well, I want to say a very big thank you to you, Engineer Maureen Chizoba Okoliofu, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And also to you, Edith Omoka, Chairperson, National Association of Nurses and Midwives. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, and this is where we are coming to the end of the show this morning. Thank you so much, and you can actually be part of this, crusade. You can actually buy pads. As a guy, as a woman, you have young girls around you and you notice that they cannot afford it. You can also pad a girl today. My name is Chidima Orama. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening and watching. God bless.